Okay, so I'm just going to kind of go over everything that I've started to do on the ICS PCR-97, and you can see the split gearbox has been cleaned. That's JB weld. That was done last night. In about 2.5 hours, there'll be 12 hours set in, and then I will check the shaping with the selector plate, make sure that it clears and goes through the gearbox with no, or it goes into the body, no issue. And then I've taken this off. This is exposed now so that you can see there was melting to the plate. Maybe because that was before the lipo. I undid these so I could just pull this out of the body. They can just be put back in pretty easily. And you can see here that's on one of the contacts. That nasty crap, so I'll see if I can remove some of that. And then what I've told, and I believe, I'm looking through the forms on this one, this might actually have some type of active braking. I'm not sure if it's going to be, you know, instantaneous, but if it does, that would be a good thing for this build. So this was a scar cylinder head that I took the Neopad from the previous stock stuff and put it in here. So it's already glued in there over the sorbethane, which I found out is a 40D. And the reason I wouldn't suggest 40D is because, you know, you want the harder stuff. This may be quieter, I'm not sure, because I've never really tested with that, but that's what I'm hearing from this person. I don't know because I don't use stuff that you would use, stuff that, you know, just long term, especially if you're using high FPS builds. This is not a high FPS build, but I would rather use a 70D. And then here you can see the angle of engagement has been corrected. Here's what I wanted to show is you can see marking right there, right here, from the spur gear hitting in there. I noticed that when I put this in together and tried to check by hand with the sector gear, there is a lot of resistance. I wasn't sure if it's because of the way I'm holding it. This doesn't grasp on there and lock on there like I thought it should. It you know, it should be solid, like there's no way it can move. Well, the only way it can't move is once in the body. So it's kind of a downfall right there. So it's making it a little bit complex and difficult to test it. I haven't been able to do all the tests yet because, you know, I just did that last night, but we'll see when I get to that. I also didn't like this because it doesn't seem to lock on there correctly. I'm pretty sure I set it in there right. It goes something like this, and then when you push it down, it locks like that. But even though that kind of locks it, you know, it's still movable and stuff. If I'm doing that incorrectly, I'll have to check. But yeah, it looks like the way it goes in, it's like this, so it's spring loaded. When you hit it down, you know, it turns around and locks like that, and that's not a real solid lock. You can see the spacing there and the spacing here. So I don't know about that going on. And then over here I just took the barrel apart. It uses an O-ring, which is pretty interesting. You can see it's pre-cut. The window is a little bit closer than normal. The hop-up chamber, when you turn it, it makes a clicking sound, but when you turn a different way, it makes a different clicking sound. I'm trying to get this piece out right here so I can go with a flat hop and put in a different bucking, but I don't know, that one's, it hurts my hand, and I'm trying to not break the plastic. Got to be careful. So here's the original Lonix pinion. It's been switched out already. This is what he had, and you can kind of see more of the spiral effect, especially between these teeth. See how it starts to spiral right there? So it's doing this kind of motion. This, I found out, is for the antiversal latch. It's for popping this, which can make the gearbox pull back the antiversal latch. Let's see here, what else is is there to say? Oh, the sector gear. The sector gear looks like it has a tiny crack on the back. Could be wrong, but I always like to note things, you know, if I find something like that. And it's right there. You can see it right there by my thumb. See that tooth? It looks like it's cracked right there. Right there. That looks like a crack to me. I try to feel it and see if it is. Also, just because people might think this is crazy, but if that's going to break off when used, you might as well check it anyway. So what I was doing was just putting the screwdriver on it, just touching it, and seeing if it was going to budge right away. Because if it did, then you know it's going to break when it cycles regardless, because it's going to be torque. It didn't seem to break, so I'm thinking, could just be marked up. But see, that looks like a crack to me. I don't know. Anyways, so there's some type of what looks like to be resistance in the gearbox, but I'll get that confirmed later. So I think there's nothing to say about that. Let's see here. Is there anything else to say? I'm sure there is. I just can't think off the top of my mind. I do like how it sits in here. The gearbox, at least down below. The top half definitely needs to be secured a little bit better, especially secured before it gets in here. Shouldn't be relying on the body. They use the pistol grip, of course, to secure the gearbox down in there, and it secures it tightly. There's no problem with that. Let's see. So I haven't gone over the trolley thing yet. The arm looks extremely well, you know, thickened. Look at that. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. However, you can see a little black crap right there on the metal. So I'm going to try to clean that shit off, and then the cutoff. I'm hearing that maybe this thing might full auto when semi. If that's true, the spacing is wrong, and I'll put some JB weld on here, extend this arm to this so that that doesn't happen. I don't think this will need to be reinforced with a metal screw because it looks pretty damn reinforced. I mean, that's more than normal. See, tappet plate has something on top of it, and this will have to be checked for shimming too. Oh, there's some stuff I remembered. So I did insert an O-ring in the air nozzle, and you can see that. It's hard for me to kind of show. So there's, you know, checked the full air compression, and wow, it's solid now. So I did port the piston head. I did drill tiny little holes, 8 of them. So now it's ported, and I made sure, you know, that's drilling more towards the center than the edges, and they're pretty evenly spaced, so that should not be an issue at all. This is going to be radiused slightly. There is not really anything in the front. The newer M4s, like I think the WeTechs, the next advanced ones, they put this metal extended so that it has no possibility of cracking. From what I've heard, these can crack. It might be something right there. I'm not sure. You know, kind of looking at that, but just want to prevent that as much as possible. This is kind of blocking in the way. I don't know if you can put a piece of metal in front of that. It's the type of pop-up that's used. So I think that's everything covered up to this point so far. Wiring is still exposed. Needs to remove the exposure from that. From what I think I was told, this is SHS M120. I think I was told so. I did talk to him last night, and from what I remembered, we were talking about, you know, the FPS limit being 350 to 400. But then I remembered something this morning, that the having the gears, you know, the gears, they are a low ratio, So if you drop your FPS just by a spring, you risk pre-engagement. So just something to consider, that maybe you should just hit 350 short stroking, and then up your spring a different way. So just a thought. And then I did check beveled pinion. It was fine now, which makes me think that the other bevel was used before the teeth cutting up.